his fantasy and his hatred towards women.
The cult compound there went up in flames. It burned to the ground. 112 people inside, 17 of them children.
Beth was stabbed approximately 114 times. A lot of rage, a lot of anger.
The Borges hid a shotgun and revolver under his trench coat when he entered the school that morning.
I was scared for my life.
It is just unspeakable evil.
She is evil. That is the face of evil.
Houston 911, it's police.
Hello?
Yes.
I have an emergency case. We've been attacked by a robber.
You've been attacked? Do you need an ambulance?
Yes, please.
Channel on to ambulance.
One person's body bad and the other hurt bad.
Okay.
Fire an ambulance. What's your emergency?
He said that they've been attacked by a robber and someone is bleeding very bad and another has been hurt.
He's the devil. Came in and killed her.
There's plenty of indication that there was evil in this man's heart, and it erupted at this time.
He hates women. He wants to destroy them.
You know, you see a lot of murders when you work in Houston, but you don't generally see anything as vicious as this.
My name is Yvonne Palmer. I'm the oldest daughter of Manuela Silverio. She got here from Cuba when she was 18 years old. She went to school. She always struggled, raising her daughters, minding her own business, helping others. She had a passion for being a hairstylist. She liked helping cancer patients. That was really her passion there. She worked there for 24 years that she worked for Wigs by Andre. My aunt had moved to Texas and it looked very calm and peaceful, and that's what she wanted for her girls. And we moved to Houston because the crime rate was really high in Miami. Go figure.
When you kill someone with a knife, it's up close and personal. It's not like standing across a room or street and shooting somebody with a pistol. It's up close and personal. You can smell them. You can, you're breathing on them. You look at all the blood. You look at the transfer. You look at the spatter, and you look at the. Like I said, it's unusual to see someone stabbed 40 times. Man, they're just hard to fathom. It's such a bizarre way to kill somebody. My name is Mike Peters. I was sergeant in the Houston Police Department's Homicide Division from 1989 to 2014.
She didn't deserve this. She just went to work that day. You know, hardworking women that just went to work, minded her own business, helped people, and, this monster comes in.
This is Officer M.L. Wright, and I'm with Sergeant G. Alderetti. We're doing an interview with Roberta Ingrando.
This young man
walk straight to the counter.
Have you ever seen that young man?
It reminds me the man that I saw earlier in the day. It happened very fast. Look, she is there.
Where's Manny at?
Behind the counter.
Okay, what is she doing?
Putting away the servant.
Okay. And where are you at? You're in your
in the
workstation?
back, by the phone, by my workstation, yeah.
Okay.
And then she say aloud, "You must be kidding." And then I stop, I look and say, "I'm gonna call 911.
Okay, when she said, "You must be kidding," what kind of voice did she have? Was it like fear?
Kind of fear, something like a bad joke, you know. But the way she say, "You must be kidding," I understand it was something not to be kidding.
Something wrong with
Yeah, there was something wrong.
Like fear?
Yes.
He was telling her, do you like these tiny little cuts? How do you like it? I'm going to make you look pretty. A lot of disturbing things.
He said, "Does it feel good?" And to me, that shows that this whole thing is probably something this guy had fantasized about, that he was going to say this when he committed the act. But it seemed this was something this guy wanted to do. It wasn't just something, I got to defend myself, I got to steal something. He was playing out a fantasy.
My mom had jewelry on. Roberta had jewelry on. He wanted nothing. Roberta threw a drawer of money at him, and he wanted no money. I mean, that wasn't his motive. He was in there to kill. He was not in there to rob. He was in there to kill. And that's a psychopath. That's a serial killer. That's a murderer.
Do you think he picked your mom for any reason?
No, he just saw two vulnerable women. You know, he walked in there, saw two vulnerable women, and, you know, that was his target.
She said, "Ah!" You know, she screamed. She fell.
When she screamed the first time, did you look to see what was going on?
Oh, yeah.
What did you see?
I saw her falling.
What was he doing?
Jumping over the counter, like jumping over her body or something, jumping, running after me.
Do you think he slashed your right hand first?
I think so, because I have the phone.
On your...
I think he did it like this.
Okay. And then what do you think he slashed next?
I think my neck.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I know he kind of hugged me, he came kind of over like this.
Like a bear hug?
Right, a bear hug. I did not know it was a knife till I really saw myself in the middle of the blood. I thought he was just punching me.
How many times did he punch you?
Well, I've been told, because I did not naturally count that he was doing 14 times when he was over me. It's possible you say something, you like it, but I cannot be sure.
You like it?
You like it, yeah.
He heard his wife call out, and it was in such a way that it frightened him. He came out and he saw the suspect punching his wife. Well, he thought he was punching her. What he in actuality was doing was stabbing her. So he threw some, it's a wig store, and they had some curlers. He threw the curlers at him. And my best guess is that he was in his way as he was trying to get out, and he was stabbed, defensive type wounds in the hand. I think he was stabbed once in the body. Luckily, there was a witness out in the parking lot that saw him fleeing from the store, felt it was suspicious, and followed him till the car that he got away in was a '98 Lincoln Navigator. And he felt it was suspicious. He wrote down the license plate, which was a godsend in this case. And after the kid drove off, he went to the wig shop, and he discovered what had happened there and stayed there until the police got there. I think we all have a radar in our system where we pick up something that doesn't look right. A lot of times people discount it, but this guy did, and he knew something wasn't right when he came running out of that wig store. And we were very lucky that he took the interest that he did and got us a license plate.
We took a video and we were trying to show the distance of that and the timing of it from where the car was found to the location where the incident took place. And we were pretty proud of ourselves with the timing to show, exactly how it all fit into place.
They were able to locate the car that night. They recovered it and obtained a search warrant. During a search of the vehicle, they recovered fibers that were consistent with hairs that are on Wigs.
Whose SUV was that then?
It was his father's girlfriend, the black SUV. They had traveled out of town. Goldberg father had him drive them to the airport, dropped them off, and he brought the vehicle back home to their house. I guess that's the only thing they wanted him to use the Navigator for, was taking him back from the airport. And he was in his own vehicle when he showed up out there at the house at night, and the police conducted their initial interview with him.
What did he say?
Well, he denied any involvement in the murder. He did admit that he had been in the wig shop previously, and he denied any knowledge of the murder and the assaults. But one of the odd things he said, and I thought, was that he wanted to talk more to us, but he wanted to talk to his mother first, and then he wanted a lawyer, which really at that point, when they say they want a lawyer, we can no longer interview him.
Did they ever find the murder weapon?
No, they didn't. Dror showed up in his own pickup truck that night, and they recovered some knives, but it's doubtful that either of the knives they recovered were used in the murder.
That's what kind of kicked the case off. I think that he saw the individual run out. He was a very good citizen, an outstanding witness, he explained. I think he testified from his heart and very truthfully. He said he was 80% sure of the identity. And it's commendable when a citizen comes forward and says that they're 80% sure as opposed to 100% sure or whatever, but he was very careful with, how he did it. My name is Lester Blizzard. I was the prosecutor assigned with Kelly Siegler on the Dror Goldberg case. Dror Goldberg is a case that I'll never forget.
We didn't know his name or anything until the grand jury indicted him, which was 3 months later, whenever we found out his name. And they told us they had a warrant for his arrest. And we were waiting for him to, we were down there at the DA's office waiting to see who it was that killed our mother. And he never showed up. And then from there is where we had to take matters into our own hands to make sure that my mother's case just did not fall through the cracks. It wasn't just another murder in Houston. Someone's gonna pay for this.
I got brought into the Goldberg case by the two daughters, Yvonne and Yvette. My name's Andy Kahn. I'm Director of Victim Services, Crime Stoppers of Houston. At that time, when the murder took place, I was the victim advocate in the mayor's office. They wanted, my advice and expertise on what can we do to bring attention to this. And, we came up with, let's just go door to door. Let's create flyers, wanted. Let's bring all the attention that we possibly can if you got a wanted suspect for a murder, and we have no idea where he is.
The family was really good. They went through the neighborhoods putting out flyers. I know they drove my lieutenant crazy, which I was grateful for. They were very concerned that we find that, we had a named suspect, and they wanted to see justice done, and they did the thing that people should do, is they made sure we kept practice our due diligence, which we did. And they were out in news in the community. They were constantly, every time I looked around, I saw them on TV.
And we had the help from the media to find him. And that was big. Because, to make everyone aware of who he is and what he is and where is he at, someone had to see something. So we started getting phone calls from Mexico, just different areas that sightings that they had seen him. And but that was 6 months. He was on the run for 6 months.
He was gone before he was charged. When he became wanted, it was like whack-a-mole. I was getting calls. He was seen here, he was seen in Mexico, he was seen in Israel, anywhere you could imagine. I was running my tail off, running down all these clues. But the one big thing we did, the FBI, one of the agents, the FBI was helping. We filed a federal flight to avoid prosecution warrant on him. That's what got him when he was flying back from Thailand. He was in Germany doing a transfer, and the German police snapped that something wasn't right about this guy. He rang him, and boom, there was a warrant.
We think that the German police officer did an outstanding job out there in tracking and making sure that the warrant was valid and taking him into custody at the time. The German police officer came and testified for us about that.
And then they want to bond him out on $25,000, which I thought that was the biggest slap in the face. So we got them to raise it up to $100,000. We collected 1,800 signatures and went up to the judge. He's out on an ankle monitor, and even the neighbors are seeing him going to McDonald's to get food and all that, because we were in the neighborhood. We were watching him. Police doesn't have time to watch him. We'll watch you to see what you're doing.
You did actual surveillance on him?
Him, his family, everyone. They put a gag order on me, Andy Kahn, my sister, everyone in our case, basically, on our side. And we could not show any emotions in court because we were going to influence the jurors.
I was sitting in my office and I got served with a gag order. I was hit with a gag order out of the 248th District Court. So now we can't say anything.
Did you ever figure out why that wig shop?
No, I don't. I never uncovered that, but the motive was something that we struggled with in the case. It's not your traditional motive, but we were struggling for how this type of horrible event could pop out of really nowhere and in such a nice section of our town.
It was a sunny day, and I was a brand new rookie. And when you're a rookie, you're sent to different schools and to train. And I was sent to Bel Air High School to train, and under Officer Dugan, who was my field training officer. My name is Susie Pendergrass, and I am a former police sergeant for HISD Police Department. We were walking down the street, across the street from the school, right near the entrance of the parking lot, and a car with high school males drove by and threw a beer can out and approached him, and he had a beer, and we got him out of the car, and he admitted he had been drinking, and that they had had a party before, the night before, and that they had liquor in the trunk. He voluntarily let us look in his car, and there was 3 joints, marijuana, in the car, and there was a small knife, double-edged. So we took him into the office, into the school, into the principal's office. I was going through his backpack. We'd already found some, dope, so I was looking for some more. And I pulled out a spiral notebook, and I saw this picture of a devil. I'm not easily moved by hand drawing, but this was striking. And I flipped the page and read How to Kill a Woman. So I started reading. And it was his thoughts. It wasn't a poem, it wasn't a letter, it wasn't just something a kid's writing down. He's telling you how he's doing it. And he said, I'm making tiny slits all over her body so that when she looks down, she'll see red. And she knows she's gonna die. And she's begging me for her life. And I'm looking into her eyes. And then she realizes that my eyes are dead and I don't have any use for this stupid bitch. And he went on to talk about how to rape a woman. He talked about penetration, he talked about cutting off her airflow, and then when she was just fixing to pass out or die, then he would let go, and that would give him his satisfaction. He talked about the urge to kill was so strong that he didn't think he could fight it anymore. It was so disturbing that I begged them to let me copy that notebook. Keep the notebook, I'll make the parents a copy, because they had decided they were going to give the notebook to the parents and talk to them about it. And here I am, a brand new rookie, saying, I'll make a copy of it. If it goes in the evidence room and crumbles after years, oh well, but he's a killer, he's gonna kill, he's gonna kill. And they kind of blew me off. I had nightmares after reading that notebook. That thing never left me. I should have. It was so real that I find it hard to believe that he hadn't killed before then. So 4.5 years later, now I'm Officer Dugan's boss, my field training officer's boss. We're standing out in the parking lot one day, and he tells me, oh, this is that DA again, Sarge. She's wanting me to call her, but I've been busy today. And I said, we need to call her before you go home. And he said, I will. And I took a few steps, and I turned around, and I said, I hope it's not the notebook killer. And I laughed. And I'll regret that laugh forever. The next morning, this man is in my office. And he's saying, Sarge, I talked to that DA last night and she wants to talk to you.
It really must have stuck in your brain to remember that with such clarity.
You have no idea. You have no idea. I've been through some stuff. I've seen stuff. The words and the sentiment and the hatred, this wasn't him writing a story. This was him fighting the evil, or letting you know what the evil is inside him.
There's no denying that that notebook was very substantial in what it had to say, and showing a picture to the jury of what evil looks like.
I think, you used to look for a link or a motive and all of that stuff, but there's people out there that are just evil. They're evil to the core. They look human, they walk human, they talk human, but they're not human. And they will kill you and go home and eat a sandwich. They don't care.
First, the real big thing is the witness identifying him and getting us a license plate. Having Roberta identify him is a super big thing. The fibers that connected the vehicle used in the incident to the crime scene is big, but that state of mind thing is real important, because I think people, especially jurors, want to get a motive.
He also talked about he would love to do it with an audience of women. That was real important to him. He wanted he wanted to do it sometime and other women watch. This was a very exclusive wig shop, right? These mannequins were nothing like what was on the market and you saw in the stores at that day and time. And when I walked in, I thought, this is his witness of women. This is his audience of women.
It was kind of like the smoking gun. I mean, you needed something that could show how depraved this particular killer was, how random it was, and the fact that this was almost premeditated, because he basically put down in his notebook almost a step-by-step descriptive of what he wanted to do to women.
This is one of the oddest things I've ever seen working in homicide. Now, first of all, the way he did it, and who he came from a good family, he could have had a good life. But he threw it all away for some kind of twisted reason that was going on in his head.
We had to sit there day in and day out, listening to everything and just horrified. One time when they were showing my mom's bloody clothes, I had a panic attack and ran out of there. I was very worried. Because you don't know, at this point, you don't know which way it's gonna go. So you're sitting there really for, I think it was like 48 hours or something like that before the verdict was read. For 48 hours, you're sitting there holding your breath and, praying that, everything against him, that, the jurors saw everything.
This case was a huge jigsaw puzzle with a lot of little parts, and the jury in the case, they worked through all of the problems and they were able to see the picture after putting all the little pieces together.
It was a very emotional reaction here in court as the verdict was read. After 16 hours of deliberation, Dror Goldberg was found guilty. Dror Goldberg covers his mouth in shock as the verdict is read. A Harris County jury took 2 days to decide that Goldberg is guilty of murdering Manuela Silverio at a Southwest Houston wig shop in November 1998. Outside the courtroom, tempers flared as Goldberg's emotional friends reacted to the verdict, pushing a photographer. A gag order prevented anyone from commenting on the decision, including Goldberg's mother. And defense attorney Dick DeGuerin could say little more.
All very, very disappointed, of course. There's a gag order. We've got a long way to go.
Were you surprised, though?
Yes, I was.
Meantime, inside the courtroom, Silverio's friends and family cried and hugged in relief, and then left the courthouse.
See you guys Monday.
And although they're also banned from talking, Silverio's son-in-law couldn't restrain his emotions.
Yes!
The punishment phase of this trial begins Monday morning at 10, and Goldberg's punishment could range from probation to life in prison.
This is a hole in my heart. This is in my head every single day, every movement that I make, everything. It's always trying to think, what else can I do? What else can I do? We just can't stop. We can't stop. My mother was everything to us, everything. We miss her so much. I miss her she never got to grow old. She never got to see my kids, nothing. She just, 54 years old. I'm actually older than my mom was when she died, yeah.
I've had the sons and daughters of privilege in trial on serious cases. But no, there's no mistaking it. This is a significant case, and this is horrible evil that's hard to look at. And no, there won't be I hope there will never be a case like this.
I just remember my grandmother calling me and asking me, "Where's your mom?" My mom was supposed to stop by my house. I said, "I don't know. I haven't heard from her." So I called. Nobody answered.
I couldn't even speak or anything, but I remember dropping in the parking lot where I was, and I felt my whole life just sucked out of me right then. And since that day, I have felt that same way. I'm not the same person I used to be. She was my everything.
I've got to take them back to what happened to that day. And that's, obviously very painful and very emotional, but it's important for the parole board to understand what the two daughters went through, how they found out, and just then the aftermath of what happened during the trial was very emotional.
I'm sure he checked all the boxes for his parole. He's got degrees in there. They pulled a religion card. So he gets his food, he gets to cook in his cell.
He's not just a killer. He wanted to torture and torment. And this has lived with me for 24 years. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna fight like hell and keep him in there as long as we can.
What are you concerned about if he gets out?
I'm concerned for the girls. I'm concerned that he might go after them. I'm concerned for me.
I know he's denied ever having anything to do with the murders. He's never accepted responsibility. So he's in the right place.
When they deny somebody's parole, they can review anywhere from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years. 5 years is the max. And I said, we got to get the max. That's what you're going to ask. Because if you don't ask, you don't get it.
It consumes your life so much. I mean, day in and day out, I have to think about this. I don't get a break. I don't get a break at all. I mean, I have to fight for my mom, make sure my mom has a voice.